Hello there, and welcome to the Right Click Save podcast. I'm your host, Calcio. Joining me, as always, is our host, Jimmy T. How you doing, Jim?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited. I'm mostly excited for you today, Calcio, because finally you've got an opportunity to talk to someone who actually has a background also in physical collectibles as well as digital ones, and has kind of got a similar story to yourself. So I think I'm probably going to be sitting back a little bit in this one and let you get your teeth into it.
That's fine. I'm quite happy with that because our guest today is someone that I've watched for quite a while now because of the route he's gotten into the NFT space. He's the founder of VaynerSports. He was the former COO of VaynerMedia. He's founded various venture capital firms and is a massive sports fan as well, which I really resonate with. It's AJ Vaynerchuk. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. I think one of the big things that's always appealed about what you guys do with VaynerSports and VaynerMedia for me, I've just sold one of my collectibles business and I'm obsessed with collecting stuff and always have been. How have you found the transition between originally being a very big physical collector to now really shift into being more of an online collector?
You know, it's actually been really seamless for me because, to your point, yes, I'm a big physical collector. I always have been. You know, my older brother, Gary, really introduced me to all these things when I was younger. We're 11 years apart. So, you know, when he's 16, 17, 18 at home before he goes off to college or university, I'm 5, 6, 7 in my prime being influenced by, you know, my older brother. And so wrestling figures, comic book figures, toys, video games, baseball cards, especially, huge part of my childhood. But the other part of my childhood that was quite large was video games. And when I say it was an easy transition, it wasn't from playing, you know, Madden, rest in peace to John Madden. His football video game is a centerpiece of my childhood. It wasn't from playing Madden or Mario 64 or anything like that. I actually, not a lot of people know this, and I haven't talked a lot about it, and a few of my friends from back home are going to smile ear to ear when they hear it. I was really, really early and really big into MMORPGs. And the one in particular was Ultima Online. Ultima Online was a massive part of my childhood. And the part I always liked about Ultima Online was the grind to accumulate and collect gold and weapons and buying houses and different types of horses. And so, you know, I didn't play a lot of like World of Warcraft or EverQuest. I kind of moved away from MMORPGs as I got into high school. But that's always been ingrained in me and has always been a big part of me. So the transition to digital collectibles was very easy for me because of that.
I like that. I like that you're saying that the video game grind has sort of prepared you for the real world grind.
Yeah, it depends. It depends. I think the other one was like Diablo 3 was a game that I played a lot of. And
Yeah.
I mean, I had friends in high school that were selling digital assets on eBay 15 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
So, you know, we've been waiting for this. This was something we anticipated and wanted and solves a problem.
I do remember people, a few of my friends selling like RuneScape accounts. Do you remember RuneScape?
Yeah.
Selling RuneScape
Yeah.
accounts. And that was used to boggle my mind. I was like, I thought you used to think it was genius because they were selling it.
Even more recently,
thousands.
Fortnite accounts were being sold on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I made some good money off Fortnite accounts.
Exactly. It's the truth. And so we've been wanting this as a society. Now it's here.
Yeah.
For me, it's the I like collectibles because what they make you do is have an emotive connection to something, and then you develop that emotive connection, and then you panic a little bit because you realize that you're actually really emotionally connected to a lot more than you maybe can afford at the time or you have space for. Then you have to start having those really weird mental battles of, do I prefer this comic book or do I prefer that Star Wars statue that I've just spent the money on? That's what I've always found really interesting. Have you guys looked at, because I know Gary's got V-Friends out and things like that, have you looked at your own collection yet, or are you quite happy as a collector still?
Oh, you're saying for me as myself?
Yes, yeah.
You know, I don't anticipate me doing anything that looks like what my brother has done. You know, I'm much more happy and much more in a space of, you know, in a very, very small role, helping him think through V-Friends. Like, I play such an incredibly minor role for V-Friends. I go to maybe like an hour or two of meetings a week, chime in here and there. Gary texts me some ideas at 11 o'clock at night. Like, I like being in that role amongst all the other things that I juggle. I don't think I have an interest in kind of carrying my own IP or my own collection. And plus, my brother's on such a runaway train with V-Friends. I have so much belief and optimism as to where that ends up that I'd rather put my energy towards helping him take that to the moon.
Are you guys quite competitive between you?
Yes and no. I think we're very fortunate that in a business sense, we're not at all.
Okay, cool.
It helps that we're 11 years apart. I think we're 2 years apart.
Yeah,
It's a completely different dynamic. But being 11 years apart, he was always, my mentor, not my competitor. And so we're not competitive at all in that regard. When you get into sillier things like basketball or board games, we get competitive with
yeah,
one another.
yeah,
But
yeah.
when it comes to serious stuff, like we've never had a real fight over business in our entire lives. And we're pretty blessed that way because I know it's not
That's
easy
cool.
as far as business and family and money and all that.
Yeah, I bet that is difficult. I mean, I've got two brothers, an older and a younger, like close ages as well. So we were, as a middle child, I was mega competitive, and yeah, I'm not sure if I'd want to run a business with either of them. But I guess, as you said, the gap between you and the fact that he kind of
Yeah, just
sort of showed you the physical collectible, how to get started with that is kind of more of a almost, would you say it's more of a mentor relationship at the beginning?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing too that helps us is that I think we both believe that we're like 95% the same person, but 5%
yeah,
different. And
yeah.
that 5% difference is extremely healthy and synergistic as opposed to conflicting. And that helps quite a bit too. So it comes down to a little bit of luck too. It'll be interesting for me because I have such a gap between my siblings. We have a sister in between. She's
Yeah.
8 years older than I am. So I have an 8 year older and 11 year old older sibling. But then I've got three kids, 4, 2, and 1. So
Oh,
those
Yeah, about the
three
same as
are
mine.
not. Yeah, our three are not as spread out as I was. So I'm excited to kind of have the front row seat to see what those dynamics look like.
yeah, that's cool.
How do you feel about, and I guess this is more of a question about people you've grown up with, because I don't know about you, but I'm sure it will be the case. I've got friends that have collected the same things as me, who have been in the same business as me, and now when I go to talk to them about NFTs, they are really conflictional. Now, for you guys, I'm not being funny, it's a much easier pitch because you have got the gravitas. Have you found much conflict in real life friends with the space, or they've all just been quite
I
aligned?
haven't. I haven't. And to your point,
Damn you.
I think I think the reason why is a couple of things. Well, let me take a step back. Actually, I won't say conflict because I was too busy between work and family and everything going on to spend the time and energy to have conflicts with those that I love if they didn't grab it right away. So I'll take a step back and then I'll tell the narrative and story now. One, I'm in my mid 30s and I've already kind of had a rodeo, like you talked about, in what I'll call Web 2, where like I was the friend that not only told my friends about Uber and Venmo, but also invested in Uber and Venmo. And so it's really hard for anybody that really knows me well and is my friend to doubt me at this point because I had an entire decade cycle centered around innovation and seeing what's next, right? So there's that. But bringing it back forward, I am extremely close to my high school friends. I have a group of like 15 friends that were still airtight and almost talk every day over text. And back in late February, after maybe spending about 2 to 3 weeks deciding that CryptoPunks were going to be important and thus NFTs were going to be important, I went into that group chat and I go, fellas, I'm drowning. The first like month I found out about crypto, I was working like 18 hours a day and being a dad and being a husband and everything
Yeah.
because it just grabbed me right away. I knew it right away for the most part. Maybe not right that second, but within like a week, I knew that NFTs were going to be a huge thing and have a big impact on my life. And so I went to the group chat. I said, fellas, listen, everybody's in a different financial space in their life. I'm not naive to what I'm about to say, but I know some of you have done pretty well for yourself. Um, if you could somehow muster together $25,000 for an investment, there's nothing more in the world I could recommend more than a CryptoPunk. Period.
Good
Not
call.
any stock, not any real estate. Like if you can put together 25K, and that's what the floor was when I did that. My first punk I bought, it was like a $13,000 floor, and then about 2 weeks later, it got to like 25K. I forget how much ETH. Call it 12 or 13 ETH. I think ETH
Yeah.
was like 1,800 or so. And out of the, I want to call it 14 friends in the group chat, to the credit of three actually bought. And those
Nice.
three friends of mine are very happy with me.
I bet.
The other
Yeah.
11 didn't. The other 11 didn't. And it was a split of those that could afford it but just didn't believe, and a split of those that just couldn't afford it. And I respect that, obviously. The worst part about that story was like 3 hours later, I go, you know what? I really thought about it. I do realize that $25,000 is an enormous amount of money and that there's a good chunk of you that can't even contemplate that, let alone do it. My second favorite thing in the world right now is Chromie Squiggles, and you get them for $250 a pop. They were point 0.2 ETH,
Oh
Oh dear.
wow.
not even 0.15. because it ended up being 250 USD. They were 0.135 or something like that. Chromie squiggles from our
By
blocks.
10, 15 at the time, yeah.
But guess what?
I don't want to think about that.
Zero bought. Zero.
Uh,
The 3 spent 25,000 on CryptoPunks and did not buy a squiggle. So they didn't believe. I guess that was conflict, but I didn't have time. I said, "You should do this. Call me later." Now all of them, we all have a DAO. We all have a DAO now because that's where that's at.
I was going to say, I get a lot of. I've been in crypto, trading crypto for a number of years now, since 2017, and I've been doing NFTs sort of started last year. And I get a lot of my friends asking me about, and family asking me what they should invest in, NFTs, crypto, and I'm always very kind of conflicted about suggesting what they should invest in, because there's nothing worse than telling someone to invest in something and it tank and not go well. What was your emotions like with that? Were you so sure that it was going to be successful that you didn't worry about that?
It's hard. It's hard, and I get hit up all the damn time.
I bet you do, yeah.
I mean, I've got over 100 professional athletes that I represent. I get like 8 text messages a day about that. I've got all my friends. I've onboarded a lot of friends, all these different like acquaintances. You know, my brother knows a lot of different people, and so that our network and our circle is quite large. And obviously, my brother's a big megaphone leading the charge here. It's hard. Like, I just actually had one of my athletes today. I've been screaming from the rooftop about doodles recently. That's been like my personal, I know I'm shilling and I'm self-aware. And I'm even tweeting about like, I hate to shill and I know I'm pumping, but like I truly believe this, right? Yeah, like I believe this. And if you look at my track record, I've really only pumped CryptoPunks, VFriends, and now doodles. I don't pump things. Yeah, right. Like I wait and I make sure I'm convinced. And
just need to get crypto dads on that list.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the honorary I love, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a very nice, tidy.
It is, and I turned down most honoraries. And I think I mentioned that. But
what's quite good about cryptos is they don't just throw them out to anyone. It's not like they've got a factory pumping them out. They are very selective about who gets an honorary.
For sure, and I'm humbled by that. But I had an athlete today. I told a bunch of my athletes, actually have like a private Twitter. Do you guys know what Twitter Communities is?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you've got
that beta product?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a Twitter community with like maybe 30 or 40% of our athletes onboarded so far. And I posted about doodles when they were like 3.5, 3.75 ETH. I was like, hey guys, like, this is my pick. This was like 2 weeks ago. I was like, this is my pick for 2022 breakout. Like, Bored Ape was the breakout in mid-2021. This is my personal pick. I could be wrong. This is my personal pick. And I think one of the athletes bought, which is dope. He's super happy. He's up like 3x already 2 weeks later. But then I had another athlete today who I love, and he's actually one of our only athletes that bought a CryptoPunk back in March.
Nice.
And he's like, hey, I'm about to pick a doodle now. I'm like, hey, man, like, it is like 30 grand now. I felt a little bit more comfortable when it was like 12 grand. I still believe in it, but, it has pumped, and the Fed in America said some shit, and crypto's way down. Like, I don't love the timing of you telling me you want to spend $30,000 on doodle. I wish you told me this 2 days ago. I would have said, fuck yeah. And so, that I'm navigating, and I navigate a lot. It gets me particularly concerned when people are talking big numbers. I had another athlete of mine that has not banked a ton of money, has banked good money, but not a ton, text me saying, hey, you got any mutant apes? And I say, yeah, I've got 4. I was fortunate enough. I bought 2 apes early for like 0.5 ETH each. And so that's how I got 2 of them. And then I bought 2 on the public mint for 3 ETH each. Like, I invested like 25 grand into 4 mutants and 2 bored apes. You're talking about buying one for like 50 grand right now. And like, I know how much money you've earned. I was literally like pumping the brakes. Like, hey man, like, what's your overall NFT budget? Have you talked to your financial advisor? Like, I know shit's hot right now, but shit goes cold quick. And so I do feel a lot of that responsibility and pressure.
Yeah.
I bought my mutant at about 8.49. And the reason I bring this up is relevant is that was very specific, not about. That's what I paid. And that was back in start of December, late November. I bought the doodle I currently hold for about the high 2s. Again, about the same time. Where we are with the market now is great. But like you said, it genuinely doesn't take very much. We've seen it with so many projects just for it to go like that. One of the things we like to ask a lot of people because of the fact that whilst it's really good for people like myself, they're going to go and buy a mutant and a doodle, a lot of people don't want to spend that much straight away. What would you do if you were in the position where you had about an ETH, maybe 2-3 ETH, not a massive budget, where would you be looking if you want to? If that's what you've allocated to NFTs, or one of your rephrase this.
Yeah.
One of your athletes comes to you and says, "Look, AJ, I want to put $10,000-$15,000 into NFTs at most." What would you suggest?
Yep. So I actually, not to pump my own Twitter account, but I actually put out a tweet on January 1st saying, "Hey, here are my 4 favorite projects of the year coming: Doodles, Guzzlers by Xcopy, V Friends, and I can't remember the other one. Another great blue chip, in my opinion, type project." And then somebody commented like, "That's cool, AJ, but like you do realize the entry point to everything you described is like $20,000. Like it'd be pretty cool if you did something a little bit more reasonable." And I was like, I wrote back, "You're absolutely right. Coming in a few hours." And what I landed on was Thingdoms. Have you guys seen Thingdoms?
Yep.
So when I posted on January 1st, it was a 0.1. And that's where I try to stay. I try to stay in that 0.1 to 0.15 range. So I posted Thingdoms at 0.1. Nuclear Nerds. I don't know if you guys have seen Nuclear Nerds, but it was 0.07.
Minted for. Yeah.
Nice. Love it. I posted that when it was 0.07. I think it's at like 0.15 now, so still obtainable. Crypto Strikers, which is a project I really like. It's what I believe to be the first sports-related NFT, the soccer player caricatures.
I remember that. I think it was a Garu episode. He really liked the project early on. I remember doing an episode on it because football was my thing. That's what I love. So it was. I didn't buy in, but it was really interesting.
It's an old like 2018, I want to say, project, and then it had to get wrapped for OpenSea, so it wasn't even available to buy on OpenSea. But then they wrapped the founder wrapped the contract like 6 months ago. So that was one. And then the fourth one, I guess I have to look. What was the fourth one? Anyway, those are 3. And now the problem is Thingdoms is up to like 0.35. So got a little less obtainable. It's still that's still about $900 or whatever. Yeah, within your 10 to 15. Yeah. I think the other thing I would say too is I'm a big fan of diversification. So if I got 10 grand, I'm also a believer that some of the currencies matter. So I would keep a little bit of ETH in my back pocket. Let that kind of go up as long as it doesn't keep going down like it is right now.
Good time to buy.
I think Solana is hard to dispute as at least a player to be considered of. I think there's been a lot of bad projects in Solana, but I think there's been a lot of good. And the use case of Solana is very strong. Like it's quick, it's seamless. Like there's a lot to like about Solana. I know a lot of smart people that prefer it. A new one that I dabbled with recently is Arbitrum. That's where Small Brains is. It's a layer 2, but I think that's interesting. I gotta say IMX as well, just as a layer 2 where you're writing MetaMask and it resolves back to the main layer of Ethereum. Also, full disclosure, the fund that my brother and I own and operate is an investor in Immutable X and a token holder of Immutable X. Yeah. And my brother is doing Befriend's book games on Immutable X as well. So I have a bias on that one. But as you can see, the fact that we even have invested and started using a layer 2 shows my belief that you can't just I'm an ETH maxi, but I'm also not somebody that believes in absolutes.
Yeah.
I think the big thing as well, and this is without asking you to comment, of course, OpenSea is lacking in many ways. And so having an opportunity to look at a different market and a different platform that is by a team of innovative people is really appealing. And I'd be interested to see how quickly it takes on, because we see regularly the Doodles volume, for example, a few days ago was stunted massively by it's still banged. OpenSea just can't cope. It just went, we're done. Yep. And so I signed up to Immutable X recently because I want to be in book games, things like that. I think that's the power that you guys have as well. You know, you have called things so many times so accurately. So it's much, the conviction that I then feel as a listener or a reader of your tweets is much stronger because I've seen the consistency throughout. And so I think that's really nice.
I've just turned on the little notification bell on your Twitter.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The other thing I'll say, and this is me giving myself and my brother a pat in the back, but I think if you look at the things that we shill and the things that we pump, we're never doing anything without real conviction and research prior. He and I gut check each other quite a bit. Like we bounce things off like, hey, like I'm really going down the rabbit hole and getting passionate about this thing. We're constantly kind of gut checking each other and holding each other accountable. We never don't disclose, or like, you know, you've seen a lot of these NFT influencers over the last 6 months promote a project, and the reason they're promoting the project is because they're actually going to get a transfer of ETH at the end of it. Like, we're never taking 5% of a project. I don't own a single any angle towards doodles. I don't own a single angle anything towards Thingdoms. Like, we're not hiding anything. We're not pay to play. We're not getting paid to endorse. Like, we're only sharing things that we believe in. And of course, we're not going to bat 1,000. We're going to be wrong. But there's always logic and rationale, no ulterior motive to anything that we believe in.
I think that's why so many people follow you guys, because they appreciate how genuine you guys are and the responsibility that you obviously shoulder in putting these things out. I mean, even myself, it's like I've got a very modest sort of 5,000 followers on my account, but sometimes I look through my account and I don't take any paid or have done any paid promotion for anything, and I look down mine and I think, oh wow, sometimes I think, wow, it kind of looks like I do, but it's just because I'm excited about the space. So often if I'm looking at something or I'm buying into something or I'm excited about something, I'll put a tweet out about it. And then I tend to get a lot of messages from people saying, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Yeah.
And I do make sure I kind of try and responsibly answer that. And we've even got a little Discord set up now for our podcast that we have people in, and we're all just trying to help each other out, because it's a tough space. It's a wild west out there, and it's very easy to get in and delete your ETH.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that.
One of the things I wanted to kind of close off on, because I know we are kind of short for time, and I really do appreciate you jumping on today, is looking at from your point of view. Is there anything, like you said, you can't hit 10 out of 10? No one ever does. You'd be lying if you said you did. Well, anyone would, right? So are there any lessons you've taken so far that you would really want to share with other people through the NFT space?
Yeah, one of the thing that I'll think of that comes right to mind right away, and it was a mistake that I made early, in my opinion, and I hope, it's not indicative of this NFT or this project or this attribute, but I bought my first CryptoPunk for about $13 US. I wish it was 13. Reminder, I've only been in the space for about a year. I was not one of these crazy early 2018 NFT entrants. I don't claim to be. Then I bought another one for 20,000, like a few days later. And then like a week later, I was like, all right, I'm going to buy my big one. Like, this is going to be my biggest investment, and this is the one. And I was torn between two. One was a top hat and one was a hoodie, CryptoPunk.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tweeted my buyer's remorse before. So if you follow my stuff, I think Gary, you're seeing it. And what happened was, where I made the mistake and where my regret is that I went with the math over the aesthetic and my intuition. I love the hoodie personally, but the top hat had so much more going for it in terms of like 4 attributes, and top hat's rarer, and the math said top hat, my heart said hoodie. And I think when it comes to the NFT space, it can't be too much of an art and it can't be too much of a science. It's absolutely a combo. And so that was a big lesson I learned on CryptoPunks, and I hope that I apply it on everything moving forward.
That's awesome. That's really cool. We've got a bit of a thing that we're starting to do now, where I kind of fire just a couple of quick fire questions at you, if you're happy to do so.
Okay.
All right. So let's real quick. All right. Worst ever trade.
It's straight up. It's easy. It's a no-brainer. I traded a Bored Ape for a Mbappe crypto striker.
Oof. Okay.
when they were both. Here's the thing. They were both about an ETH. That was both of their values. I already had 3 apes. I was like, all right, you know what? I got a spare ape. The only reason that I feel I can salvage it a little bit and still have a chance to salvage it is it's what introduced me to strikers very early. I pounded strikers. I've made some money on strikers. I think I'll continue to make more money, but it's very easy to say that I got a massive L on that trade.
Very cool. Best ever?
Best trade?
Yeah.
I love this project to death. The only reason I did it is because I had I had bought, I think, 15 of them. I traded a Creature World for a Gen 0 Alpha 6 Wolf, 4 Gen 0 Sheep, and 50,000 Wolf.
Nice.
This was early Wolf game. This is when that was a fair. If you went to OpenSea on all those things, it was dead fair at that time.
Cool. Nice. Rarest reveal?
Rarest reveal. I'm a terrible minter. I've struggled mightily on minting. I crushed one mint, but the project ended up not having the legs. A project called Crypto Flies. It was like one of the first spin-offs of Crypto Toads.
Oh, no.
Or Cryptodes, excuse me. I minted like a Matrix background hoodie, Devil Fly.
Yeah.
I got a 3 ETH offer within 5 minutes, turned it down, and now like I'm getting 0.0008 offers on it.
Savage.
But I fucked it up. It's on me.
No bad. No worries. If you could send one project to 100 ETH floor, what would it be?
VFriends. Not even a question.
I meant to say.
That's my brother.
I'm gonna say.
Outside of VFriends, because I believe in it, and my bag isn't even that big. I only have 5 of them, and I started buying at 2, and most recently bought at 15. Doodles is my pick.
Nice. And if you could,
but it's definitely VFriends though.
And if you could delete one off IPFS, last question. If you had to delete one off IPFS, what would it be? One project.
One project delete. Oh man. God. I like to be a positive person.
We did talk about this before, whether you would answer. It is a bit of a dangerous question.
Yeah. I don't, any project that's stole or scammed, they can go.
Nice. That's the right answer. You got it, man. You got it. It's been awesome having you on, buddy.
This was really fun, fellas. I really appreciate you guys having me, inviting me on. This was a great chat, great combo, and
thank you
guys
so much,
best.
AJ. Thank you very much, mate. Cheers.
Take care, buddy.
Bye-bye. And I've been your host, Calcio, and it's been Jimmy T. Thank you very much for listening, and have a good evening, chaps.